What's up, y'all? This is 10X Generation. This is my road to $1 billion. I'm building a decentralized cloud gaming platform where you can earn passive income sharing your PC and your games with others through the internet. And I'm working on the web app portion of it, and I got a little bit done today. So, some of the things I wanted to do was incorporate the sign-in feature. So I'm using Firebase to handle the authentication and use that data to fetch data from my database, basically, user um, data, and display that and use that in this web app. So I got that down because before it was like a dummy account that everything was being done on. Now it's user specific. So I did that, and I also did have it so that there's a pop-up message that happens. There's a pop-up whenever something significant I want to communicate with the user. So let's say you delete a PC to let you know that the computer was successfully or unsuccessfully deleted. It gives you a little message, and that's pretty cool, and you can X out of that. And I learned in next.js, there are these things called contexts. So in next.js, there are another thing called hooks, and these hooks are kind of like callbacks. Yeah, pretty much callbacks, and or like states, kind of. They're, they're things that can happen asynchronously. So you can update variables, and it will re-render the components within it. Just a high-level description of it. But transferring hooks from one component to another is not so straightforward, just because of the rules of React. So there's this thing called context, and that allows you to transport these hooks from one component to another. So that's pretty cool. And just had to do some reading, learning about that so I can implement these notifications, because the notification is something that is on every single page, and I don't want to, have multiple instances of it. It's just one instance on every single page, but how do I communicate with that instance from every single component on all these other pages? I could have it so that I pass a variable, through all the different layers of components, but that's just annoying and prone to error, and I'm not doing that. So using context, so that's pretty cool. Another thing that I did, I changed some stuff with the API. Before, I was passing the IP address directly from. I used a hard-coded IP address. Excuse me. Hard-coded IP address, and pass that through, and then I would get the location information so that I can know where the computer is, so I can link you up with other computers in your area. Now I have it so that because I'm doing this request on the client side, not the server side, that may be a problem in the future. We'll figure it out. But doing the request on the client side, I can just fetch the IP address from there. So it's not hard-coded anymore. It's the device dependent. But yeah, that's the programming stuff. But to the mental stuff that was going on today. So just a little bit earlier, maybe about 30 minutes ago, I realized that I'm falling into this pattern where, in my day, I have a lot of free time to do the things that I want to do. And I think I've effectively used that time to cultivate good habits, not to spiral into, vices or whatever. So I practice music. I haven't been doing drawing, but I draw. I could draw. I try to watch positive content. I try to think. I exercise. I get out the house and get some air. I do these things. Meal prep. I try to make healthy foods and stuff like that. But when it comes to work, the work that I do before 8 p.m., right? Because I try to work before 8 p.m. I try to work throughout my entire day. But the work that I do before 5 p.m. is not focused. It's stuff that I do, but it's very distracted work. And only the work that I do after about 5 p.m. is hyper focused, hyper productive. And I don't really like that, because when I think back at my old projects, how I used to be, even just the phase one of this right here, or if I look at Neon Controller app when I was developing that, it was just pure focused all day, pure focus all day, and I loved it. But now it's like I can only get that in specific times, and it's interrupted. Of course, I can extend that time by going to sleep later, but I don't want to eat into my sleep schedule. I like my schedule right now. So I think it's a motivation issue. I think maybe I'm losing passion for this project, which is, only natural. I did do a whole bunch of work only to realize that most of it, a good portion of it, is kind of not fully thought out correctly. So having to do it again is a little whatever, but I don't think that's 100%. I think maybe it's become like this project is becoming more of a, I'm just spitballing. Maybe this project is becoming more of a job than something I'm doing for fun, right? At least in my head. In my head, I think of it as something I'm supposed to do. So I force myself to do it. Which doesn't sound like a bad thing. But if I just think about the passion behind it, when I have that passion behind it, I get way more done a lot more quickly. I can't speak for the quality of the work, but I get a lot more done, and each hour there's more done. So maybe I'm just thinking about, like, my attitude towards the project has changed. It's changed from, whoa, look at this cool thing that I'm building that I, think is going to be fun, to I have this obligation to build this thing that I like and that's cool. But it's an obligation. It's not a passion project. So maybe spending some time reframing it inside of my own head, because the fact is the same, regardless of whether I think this is a passion project or if I think this is a obligation, I will do it, right? I finish my projects. I'm gonna see this through to the end, right? So that's not really an issue. But if I can cultivate a more friendly, less obligatory air around this project, I think that can allow me to think of this as I'm playing. I'm not working right now. When I tap on the computer and I'm programming for hours, this isn't work. I'm having fun. I'm playing a game. I'm learning about something I'm passionate about. And I can categorize it subconsciously as such, because, if you like a game, like, I used to talk with my little brother about this, but I was trying to get him into programming, and he was like, I'm not interested in programming. And I was like, well, what are you interested in? And he said, video games. And I asked him, what does he do in these video games? He says, well, people ask me to do stuff. I do it. I go on virtual missions, and I learn about the game, and I grind, and I do all this stuff to level up points. And I'm like, bro, when you're working, when you're at a job or whatever, it's the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing, right? It's just virtual, and you choose to do it. But the difference is why you volunteer your time to do this is because you categorize it as fun. You don't categorize it as work, because work is something that you don't like. You don't want to do it, and you don't want to spend your free time doing it, so you're not passionate about it. It's something that you do to survive. Fun is something that you do because you enjoy doing it, and you do it when you kind of want to do it. And because it's fun, you often do it a lot more, and you get a lot better at it than the thing that you tell yourself you have to do. So I can kind of apply that here. Because I've categorized, I think these videos, the way I talk to it with other people, all this is leading me to define this project as work, which turns it into something else, right, in my own mind. But if I look at it as a game, as, well, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. I could always stop, but I don't want to stop, right? Knowing that I'm not going to stop till it's done, I think I can get back those passionate, very focused times, because it'll just be like a video game at that point. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I thought about today, and I'm gonna try to apply that. This project is fun. I'm doing it for fun. I'm doing it to become a billionaire for fun. It's a game. I don't have to do it, but it's fun. And I'm gonna continue to tell myself that and act in that way, and hopefully I'll be able to play it for hours and hours and hours as if it was a video game. So that's really it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, share with a friend if you found it interesting. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I make these videos every single day. So see ya.